Hello, welcome back from the break. We are discussing provincialism. And Dr. Arif Alvi joins us again. Thank you for being with us. What is provincialism, in your opinion?
Provincialism probably is related to the ethos around a province. That could be related to language, that could be related to resources, that could be related to what generally people do. It could be related to the business, maybe they're agriculturalists, maybe it's an industrialized province. And the term province probably is different in different countries. In some countries it is called states, counties, boroughs, etc. So, but it is an administrative distribution of work, labor, resources in a country. That's right.
Thank you very much. Okay, when we talk, I wanted to sort of establish what provincialism is. Yeah. Now let's move on and look at provincialism in Pakistan. We have 4 provinces.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Our 4 provinces do not live in sync with each other.
Yes.
Okay. What, in your opinion, do you think causes the divide?
I think in every organization, even the smallest unit of a family, there is always a struggle of resources and prioritization of resources, how those resources have to be spent. The same thing is there in a family, and the same thing is there in commercial institutions. The same struggle is a very democratic struggle throughout the world between different geographical areas. Now, geographical areas can be divided by geographical boundaries. For example, civilizations on the Nile Delta, civilizations in
mountains, seas, bodies of water,
yes, Mesopotamia, etc. But now there is a struggle of resources, how resources are going to be generated and how they are going to be spent. So, in all societies, in all countries, there is a regular struggle, even in the United States, of the distribution of resources. The federal expenditure in the United States is debated in Congress, and every province wants to have every state wants to have a bigger share. So
more of the pie.
You see, and this is a democratic right. In Pakistan, what has been happening is that the provinces have been divided or united depending on the political need of the time. In 1958, when Mr. Ayub Khan took power, General Ayub Khan took power, he realized that to balance East Pakistan, you can't have small provinces in West Pakistan. So they came up with the solution of a united West Pakistan province to balance the numerical superiority of East Pakistan. Okay. That was not looked well upon by the provinces in Pakistan, because this is also a question of devolution of power and of resources. So the Sindh thought that they are going to be exploited, and they are being exploited. So the Constitution of Pakistan in 1973 decided that there are going to be 4 provinces of Pakistan. Of course, as Azad Kashmir is a separate entity, and FATA and FANA are separate entities, but 4 provinces in Pakistan. And they decided also distribution of resources. The issue started when there was a concurrent list, education, and there were so many issues which the center decided that we will hold on to it, but in 10 years it will automatically devolve to the provinces.
Which never happened.
So this is a struggle still between the provinces don't want grants. So what happens is the center taxes the people in the province and the industry and the business in the province, and then distributes it according to the NFC formula, and then it also gives grants. And what is the NFC formula? Is the National Finance Commission formula in Pakistan, which is purely delineated along numerical lines, which means the population of a province. Purely, that's the distribution formula in Pakistan of the taxation which is done. India also has an NFC formula, but it keeps on modifying. But 8 weightages are there. Population is 1 weight. Then the
geographical size of the province
is another way. Development is another.
Location of province.
Development is another. Infrastructure is another. Education is another. Health is another. And every issue has a weightage. And depending on that weightage, resources are distributed. So this NFC commission, which has been formed by the president now, people expect that more weightages would be added into that.
That's the expectation of the population.
And yes, and the fact that what resources come from which province. Sindh has had an issue with the center always, that Sindh produces so much resources. There were claims that Sindh generates 72% of the revenue, and Sindh gets only a very small part of the revenue. So this is a continuous struggle, and I think the center will have to recognize that distribution. And you look at the history of Karachi in the past 25 years, and Karachi and Sindh have been struggling even on ethnic lines.
Yes, they have.
You see, because if you don't do it fairly, then the distribution
there will be eruptions.
There will be
periodic eruptions.
Yeah. And people then identify as groups. Urdu speaking, Sindhi speaking, Pathan or whatever, and these groups start struggling. You see, the smaller the pie, the bigger the struggle between people.
That's always the case.
That's
always the case. It's always a population
and
story.
it degenerates into violence also.
Every time. In our case, almost every time.
Yeah, and then there are demands for separation in Balochistan, which we are going through. It's terrible. We have to be fair.
Effects of provincialism. In Pakistan, when you talked a little bit about the effects, we talked mainly just now about the resources and the distribution and the angst it causes. That is a practical part of it, a pragmatic part of it. The other part of this is the identity, which is the clothes, the culture, the language, rituals, norms, customs.
That's a beautiful part of it.
It is a beautiful part of it, but it is also being used as a divisive tool. Yes or no?
Yes. You know why? Because there has been confusion in Pakistan's identity.
Why? Okay, let's start with that and then we'll go back to that one.
Yeah, I think this book has been written by Mr. Mubarak Ali on the identity crisis of Pakistan. A lot of people have written about it. There has been a struggle, a challenge to Pakistan, that Pakistan was formed for Islam or Pakistan was formed by the Muslims, for the Muslims as a state, not as a secular state. Let's leave out the secular part of it. But there has been a struggle on that. Now, because of that struggle for identity, I think what has happened is that some retrogressive elements have said that culture has to be Islamic. There is nothing Islamic about culture really. Islam gives principles of living. Islam teaches how we behave with each other, how we relate to each other. Islam gives some rituals as practice to improve ourselves. Islam gives some relationships and some modicum of relationship on how to go into marriages, how to distribute wealth upon death, how to distribute wealth upon divorce. So these are the
operational guidelines.
Now, these are not cultural guidelines, these are relationship guidelines. Now, what is culture? Culture is what the Prophet himself saw as a dance, which was watched by Bibi Aisha also in the mosque, which was a dance, a part of the Arabic culture. Now that is acceptable now, that a male dance, for example, a male troupe dancing according to the tradition should be an exception. Now we don't have to import the Arab dance into Pakistan, right?
To equate that.
To equate that. But we can have, if you go to Baldia, even close to your television station, you go to Baldia and you see this old Makrani dance, you will enjoy that, the passion with which they do it. There's no vulgarity. Everybody is moving in sync, energy. And that is a part of that culture. So that is culture. And some regressive elements have challenged that, which should not have been challenged. Some regressive elements. So language is a part of culture. Traditions are a part of culture. The dishes are a part of culture. So I think culture is a treasure. Traditions are a treasure. As long as they do not challenge the sensitivities and sensibilities between ourselves.
The sense and sensibilities of each other.
Yes.
Even
Islam, any part of the culture which challenges religion in a different way should not be a part, should not be acceptable.
We have to go to break now, but after the break, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to tackle this a bit more.